Yep, hello everyone, and welcome to this tournament game stream. So this is coming from the Striolated Manakin Mayhem Cup, and this is a round 2 knockout game between gtrudat and ScaredofBirds. So my name is Flan, and I'll be commentating the game today for you, and I'm joined by a new partner this time. I've got Captain Awesome with me, so hello Captain, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Flan. Happy to be here.
Excellent, yeah, happy to have you, and yeah, looking forward to commentating the game with you. And I think this should be a good game. We've got two good players, and yeah, we're getting through into the later stages of this knockout tournament. So you know, this is where the good players make it through. So obviously you've got some experience playing these players from the Premier League. So have you got any interesting insights from your experiences playing them?
Not so much from experiences, but I talked to both of them this morning, you know, my time, and got some things that'll come out during the game.
Excellent.
But yeah, we'll see. They're both very good players, I will say that.
Yeah, agreed. I definitely have to agree with that. So yeah, I think the clock has ticked over to past, so I think we're ready to go. So we are ready to start the game. So if you want to send out the invite. I believe that ScaredofBirds is going first in this one. Oh no, actually it's a random. So I should say this is a best of 3 match. So this will be game 1, and potentially we'll go to 3 if needed. But yeah, we'll have a random invite, so we will see who's going to go first as this gets sent out. Alright, so it does look like ScaredofBirds will be going first.
Yeah, she'll be up first, and we'll see what cards are coming down.
All right, not a bad start. They've got some good options, I think, both in terms of getting something in the forest and in the wetlands, which I think is always kind of what you look to see. Nice tucking bird in the blackbird, so that might be something they look to keep. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this, Captain?
Yeah, I don't love the forest birds. The ones in the tray, I'd probably be happier with those. Yep. I guess the broad-winged hawk isn't horrible, but he only holds 2 eggs.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely some good options in the tray. Yeah.
Nuthatch and warbler in the tray, and the red-breasted merganser, is that a draw 2, keep 1?
It is, yeah. So actually, it's quite a strong tray. I do wonder. It will be an interesting decision what ScaredofBirds does here. You know, they, like you say, I think probably the broad-winged hawk is a nice option, but maybe the nuthatch is better in the tray. So they could potentially look to go for that. Although they seem to be leaning away from the blackbird. So potentially, you know, maybe they might look at going for that merganser as their wetland bird instead.
I will say one of the things I spoke with her about this morning was one of her favorite bonus cards is the wetlands and fishery manager, and I think she has one of those too.
Yes, I think I did see fishery manager.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if she goes that way.
Yeah,
and maybe keeps the ibis as well. That's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I think the merganser in the tray works quite nicely with the blackbird that they've got. One of the weaknesses of that blackbird is if it's your only wetland bird, you find that you tuck a lot of the cards that you draw, so you don't really leave yourself much left to play with. But yeah, really, you know, if they can get the blackbird and the merganser, they're going to be getting a lot of cards, and then obviously they can tuck some of those behind the blackbird for eggs. So I think that sort of gives them flexible options at least.
Oh my.
That's a very nice looking hand.
And the zoologist on top of it. Barn swallow too. Yeah, barn swallow sandpiper.
Yep. Yeah, barn swallow is such a strong card. And sandpiper as well. You know, there's a few grubs in the feeder as well, so I don't really think they will struggle to get the food to get both those down. And yeah, I mean, even the hawk, that's a really nice forest bird to get down, I find. You know, it's a single food, so yeah. Oologist as well. then maybe they're going to lean towards bird counter. Oh, they've gone straight into it, so absolutely no hesitation there. Interesting decision on the bonus card. What do you take on that, Captain?
He was assuming maybe that she would take the nuthatch and he'd get the warbler as a second forest bird to generate the food that he's going to need for the game.
Although, as always seems to happen in this game, you take one nice bird from the tray and it gets replaced with an even stronger one. So, commonly referred to as Rule 16 on the server. So, yeah, not a whole lot you can do about that, sadly. But yeah, that Franklin Skull, it just pairs so nicely with the Barn Swallow that they already had. So, yeah, I think that's looking very strong for gtrudat now.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, his opening hand was incredible, and then to get the goal on top of it, it's almost unfair.
Yeah. I mean, I will point out as well, just for any of our less regular viewers, we do have house rules, which means that a card such as the Franklin's Goal can't be played in round 1, but you know they've got lots of other options. You know, gtrudat, I think she can look to play some of these other birds anyway, get enough food, get enough cards down, and get enough eggs so that you know they can just slot that Franklin's Gull in straight away at the start of that second round. So yeah, really strong position.
Hawk failed there on the killing. Pulled an osprey, which it wasn't able to tuck.
No, always a shame, and yeah, it always seems to happen far too often with those hunting birds. But I think it's still a strong option, and yeah, you know, if they can get that goal down, they'll be able to cycle through and maybe get some nicer forest birds just to add to that at least. Yeah, I'll be interested to see how ScaredofBirds responds to that. You know, as soon as you know that your opponent has one of those strong birds, it is very easy to get quite downbeat, especially so early in the game. But you know, I think they have still got some good options. I am surprised that the Merganser is still in the tray. Certainly, that's probably not something that gtrudat's going to pick up, given the Franklin's Goal. But you know, I think ScaredofBirds will need to leave themselves enough turns here, just to make sure they can pick that up, because you know, as I said before, it is one of those stronger wetland birds, and it works really nicely with their fishery manager bonus card.
Right. Now, are you surprised at all that Trudat has not picked up the warbler to be his second forest bird with the bird counter?
I am a little bit, and I think it particularly does work nicely with the Franklin's Goal. So obviously the Franklin's Goal is going to give you lots of cards, and if you can have spare cards to tuck, and obviously you're going to then draw one as well with the warbler whenever you gain food. You know, you're just giving yourself 3 points, but also that ability to cycle through cards. And you know, maybe you don't draw great cards with the goal, but actually, if you're able to use that tuck and draw power to cycle through them, and yeah, like you said, it works perfectly with their bird counter bonus. So I am a little surprised they've not taken it. I certainly would look to pick it up, but when the puffin appears, you jump all over that. I am maybe surprised that they took cards rather than cycled through on the swallow. Maybe they're quite happy with all the birds they already have and don't want to tuck them.
Right.
But potentially I would have looked at getting rid of that harrier. I think that's probably not necessarily something they desperately need to keep hold of. You know, particularly doesn't work strongly with the bonus card or any of the end of round goals really. Yeah, bit of a shame on the reroll. They would have liked to fish. I am surprised they didn't discard. I would have thought you'd make sure you get the food, but oh my, another overpowered bird in the tray there with the killdeer. So be interesting to see if they get rid of the gull. Yeah, I thought they might do that. So they've already got the food obviously to get this killdeer down, whereas the gull would have taken a bit longer. So not often that you see that Franklin's Goal get tucked so early.
Right.
But I think that makes sense in that position.
Yeah, for the killdeer, it's got to be a no-brainer.
Absolutely. And even I think the Tauhi in the tray works quite nicely. So I would think that in ScaredofBirds situation you probably take that, and they are looking to do that, just at least for a denial. But actually, you know, potentially that could be something they look to play in their own grasslands, just to at least start to build something up there. But yeah, I think seeing that killdeer after you know your opponent already had the Franklin's Goal, that's got to be a tough one to take, I feel.
It's a double whammy.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. You know, you could have had it if it had just come up maybe one turn later. But yeah, now your opponent's got it and can get it down straight away. Whereas, yeah, that goal would have taken, you know, maybe a couple turns more to get down just from a food point of view. Yeah. So how do you approach this if you're scared of birds? You know, they haven't really got a whole lot going in terms of point generation. Oh, and that's just absolutely awful luck. I kind of feel bad at this point.
Oh, you do. I mean, every time she takes.
Oh my god! They draw the other raven from the deck blind. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in a game before.
No, and it's the second turn of the second round.
Wow.
And Trudat has had the Franklin's Goal, the Killdeer, and both ravens.
Yep. She's seen the full house, all four of those top tier birds that we see come up so often in this game, and yeah, that's really got a sting. I think, you know, seeing it come up in the tray, but I think, you know, when Scared of Birds reviews this and sees the footage back, that actually both ravens came up. Yeah, that's hard to take, and I feel like it's almost gtrudat's to lose now, really, at this point. You know, with such strong birds, they can easily get these down and just start running that Grasslands engine, get lots of cards, get lots of big point cards. You know, they've already got the puffin in their hand, so yeah, I think they look to add to that, really, and you know, we could see a really high score here.
Yeah, if he can get another Tucker to finish that engine. In the grassland. Yeah,
you know, something like a bush tit or something like that tucks those excess cards and turns them into eggs, I think would be nice. You know, you're going to draw a lot of cards with the Killdeer, and not all of those are going to be really good cards that you'd look to play. So just having that ability to tuck some of those and turn them into points, yeah, I think that's a really, you know, a strong option to have. So they'll just need to dig through the deck and hope they can get something nice. Yep, so I think Scared of Birds probably just going to try and build up that grasslands a little bit. So they are laying eggs here. That'll get them a seed from the towhee. The dove obviously can go in any habitat. I think probably at this point you lean towards getting in your grasslands just to at least help. Hi everyone, Future Flan here, coming from the editing suite. Just to say, if you do tune in for one of these live streams that we have on Discord and that get recorded for YouTube, please try not to join with your video camera on. It does disrupt the stream slightly and makes my life a little bit more difficult having to put that blur in, so I've saved this viewer's blushes on this occasion, but if you could be so kind as to leave your cameras off when joining the stream, that would be much appreciated. Right, now back to the game. You know, build up that grasslands and get more points from it and get more eggs. But yeah, I think when you're in this position and you see the setup that your opponent has, there's not really a whole lot you can do about it. You've just got to try and play your own game and try and, you know, not lose face, because, you know, as we said before, this is a best of 3, so it's far from over. You know, you can always come back in those games 2 and 3 to try and get through. So yeah, it's unfortunate for sure, but you know, they just need to, like I say, focus on maximising their score and hope they can get some better luck in the other games.
Right. Now it looks like Trudat may play the spotted owl here. Oh, he's going Harrier.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. The Harrier's not an amazing bird, and obviously the catbird in their hand might have been something they could have looked to get down. I think maybe they're just playing that to try and at least tie this end around, although it looks like Scared of Birds is going for this double play in the wetlands with the Woodstock as well, so that's not something you often see as early as the second round, but that's quite a strong move, being able to win this end of round, and obviously that's quite a nice bonus card as well with the large bird. So yeah, that's not a bad move. That could, you know, I think in these positions where you know your opponent is going to score a lot of points from running that grasslands, they're going to get a lot of big point birds. I think if you can try and win those end of round goals, you know, those could be so important in a 2-player game like this, because if you win an end of round goal, then your opponent's going to lose it and they're going to miss out on points as well. So that's a nice draw with the cowbird. You always like to see those pink powers, especially when you know your opponent's going to be laying a lot of eggs.
And she has the blackbird. That's the only one that can hold. That's the only bowl nest. So
yeah. Oh, and there's another pink power as well. I'm a little bit surprised they didn't go for the hummingbird in the tray. It's not one of the stronger hummingbirds, but I think, and when you're in this position where you know that your opponent is getting a lot of food from their raven in the grasslands, you can afford to give them a little bit as well. But yeah, they've chosen not to keep the cowbird. So maybe they are thinking, just from the point that you made about limited egg space on the bowl nests. You know, at least if they do get that golden eye down, they have got a bit more egg space, at least in terms of the cavity spaces, and it works with the fishery manager, so that could be a good option for them.
I think it works on. Does it also work on large bird as well? I think it does.
It might well do. Yeah, I think you're right. So certainly of the two, probably GoldenEye was the stronger pick, but you could have kept both. You know, they've chosen to keep the Swainson's Hawk and the Dove in its place. So yeah, I think they'll try and get this down as quickly as possible. You know, with these pink powers, you want to get them down right away, because the longer you have them down, the more chances you're giving yourself of getting points from them. But yeah, I just do wonder with that hummingbird in the tray. It's not great hummingbird, but I think it does at least, you know, help them in terms of getting the food, whilst they're also you know, able to get points from laying eggs.
Right.
So it does look
still
like
waiting. Go ahead.
It does look like this end of round's probably a formality with the birds in the grasslands. I think gtrudat probably had that one sewn up from last round anyway. But you know, when you know that you're going to lose an end of round goal, I think you can feel safe in just ignoring it, and you know, you take the loss and move on to the next round and try and win that one. There's no point trying to chase it if you're not even close to being able to compete there.
Right, and she won the first two, so she's ahead in that area, and maybe she'll just focus on the last one, maybe try and nick that one.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be said that you know, gtrudat has obviously got some strong birds in their hand, but you know, not loads. I think the catbird is right to get down. Certainly at this point, I think they maybe could have looked to get it down sooner, but yeah, it's very flexible. You know, if they do draw lots of these big point birds and need lots of food, you can copy that raven and suddenly you're getting 4 food. But equally, you can just copy that barn swallow and get some extra points from the tucks. Yep. So that's always a good option.
Now, at this point in the game, we're just past halfway or 3/4 of the way through. At what point, if you're a trudat, do you try and get one of the bonus birds down? Because that'll potentially. Oh, there we go.
Yep.
You know, that'll tell you what you want to go for these last few.
Yep, and that is kind of the dream pick there. Rodentologist for 8 points. Yeah, I think it's a good point you make. It's always a balance with these bonus cards. You know, do you play them early so that you can see the bonus card and try and work towards it, or do you maybe save it for later just because you're giving yourself more time to see these other birds that you're getting? But yeah, certainly, you know, that's a great pick for them, and yeah, I think you're right. It's good to get those down as soon as possible, really, especially when you can afford to. You know, they've scored a lot of points from that engine, but yeah, that spotted owl, such a strong play, I think, for gtrudat there.
That was huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he still has the puffin that he's waiting on.
Yeah,
which happens. It does happen to be his favorite bird in the game as well.
Yeah, and I think I saw the king rail as well got picked up at some point. So that's another one of those big point bonus card birds. So yeah, I think it's you know, I think we should be seeing triple digits here, but yeah, we could be seeing an absolutely huge score here, I think, from gtrudat if they get some other nice bonus cards to go along with the rodentologist that they just picked up there from the spotted owl. Okay, so just going back onto ScaredofBirds, I think it looks like they are getting the food so they can get some birds down in that grassland. You know, certainly when you are getting towards that last round, you want to be building up some way of scoring lots of points. So obviously in gtrudat's case, that's been picking up lots of these big point birds and getting the food for those. I don't think that ScaredofBirds has quite had that same level of luck from the deck. We just see the whooping crane come up there, so that might have been a nice one for them to pick up. But yeah, I think at this point they just need to try and get something down in their grasslands, and I think the Swainson's Hawk is going to meet that large bird specialist as well, so you know, that might be something that helps them on terms of bonus points. But yeah, I think really they just need to focus on getting some of these birds down and getting some eggs, and yeah, just try and maximise your score at this point.
With Trudat, with the Puffin, he got the worm eating bonus card, and so he had the barn swallow, so that was a 2-pointer for him, I think.
Yep. Yeah, not great, but to be honest, when you draw the rodent torch, it's 8 points. You know, on balance, I think they will still score very highly, you know, across all of their bonus cards. So potentially they'll look to get that crane down as well. That could be huge, you know, depending on what bonus card they draw from that. So yeah, I think they'll be looking at a lot of points from their bonus cards, certainly. And yeah, they've scored well in all the other areas. So I think this will be a very high score. And yeah, if you're scared of birds, you just try and get as close as possible to that.
They got platform nest.
Yeah, so I think that's another 7 points because I think they'd already maxed that one out. Obviously, a few star nest birds in there, but yeah, plenty of those platform nests as well. So yeah, that's another strong one to pull. So yeah, I think they'll look to get that crane down, see what they can get, and then just lay eggs for that last couple of turns, and just try and maximise the score from that point of view. And yeah, it does look like ScaredofBirds. They've gone for the hawk, so I think they might look to play the pelican. Ordinarily, it's not a strong bird, but I think it's one that is going to meet both of their bonus cards. So, you know, potentially that's going to bump them up to that second threshold on each of those bonus cards. So, yeah, that's going to be a nice play at the end of the game. They will just about have enough food for that. And then, yeah, like I said before, just look to lay eggs a couple of times. Hope you can get some nice hunting on the hawk and get some points that way. But yeah, I think this is a nice play with the pelican at the end, at least.
Yeah, and Trudat will win the last end of round because she was only able to get the blackbird was the only ball nest.
Yep, and yeah, like you said, with the bonus card, you know, a couple of star nest birds, but the catbird as well as another bowl nest. So yeah, I think they've looked strong in that area, and yeah, I just feel like ScaredofBirds has kind of struggled to get the right things there. And ecologist, that's a nice pick, 4 points. You certainly take that for a last round bonus card that you couldn't really prepare or work towards in any way.
Yeah, with having the killdeer, the wetlands that Trudat has it couldn't be better, right? Because you're not wasting any brown powers. It's all white powers. It's all been bonus cards that he's been able to score more points with.
Yeah, that's what you want. That's what you want to see in your wetlands. You know, if you do have something like the killdeer or the Franklin skull that we saw before, you just save yourself all of those wetland spaces for these big point bonus cards. There's so many of them. You know, we see the Woodstalk on ScaredofBirds board as well. You know, that's another one that you look to play. So yeah, you're absolutely right. You save yourself those spaces. You don't have to waste them on brown power birds. You can look to get down these big point birds that are going to get you nice bonus cards as well. So yeah, it's been such a strong position for them. They've drawn some nice birds, and yeah, just been able to run that grasslands and really maximise on that. So yeah, last turn here for ScaredofBirds. They did get a couple of hunts on the hawk, so they can't really hope for too much more on that. But yeah, I think it's not gonna look too great for them on the final score. Like we said before, they just need to hope that they've maximised their own score potential. And yeah, you know, this is the best of 3 series, so there will be, you know, plenty of opportunity for them to come back strong. In game 2 at least, and potentially game 3 if we do go that far.
He scored 91. That's
and there we
pretty
go.
good
Yeah, I
with-
think that's a very respectable score. They did struggle a little bit on some of the card draws, but yeah, I think, you know, considering they didn't get any help from their opponent, there wasn't any of those sort of co-op birds that give out food or cards. They did well to get obviously the pink power that helped with some eggs, but yeah, I think that was obviously a strong game from gtrudat, but I think ScaredofBirds can certainly take a lot away from that, and yeah, be happy with how they performed there.